Kids can be taken care of. बच्चों का. All the kids, Mataji can come. Hare Krishna, I would like to welcome all of you. So please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Let's offer our prayers together. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Iti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschata Desatarini Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, yes, the auspicious festival of Ganesh Chaturthi is going on. And definitely you would have so many more commitments till you chose to come down here to understand what Lord Ganesha has written in Mahabharata, in our scriptures. Because most of our scriptures is spoken by Vyasadeva and written by Ganeshji. So yes, sometimes we organize big festivals, we do a lot of cultural programs, but we really lose the essence. Like sometimes at home also, we have the kids. They say that, oh, we love our parents. Oh, we do go out with our parents. We do fun with our parents. But the parents will be happy when we listen to them, when we are obedient to them. So similarly, yes, the festivals like Ganesh Chaturthi or Janmashtami or Deepavali or Dasahara, this is the occasions where Lord is reminding us how we can reconnect with the Lord. So yes. Okay. So yes, thank you very much. So I see that all of you are the obedient children of the Lord. You want to understand what Lord Ganesha is writing, because he was also writing not just whimsically whatever Vyasadeva was speaking. Because there was this condition between Vyasadeva and Ganeshji that Ganeshji should write, whatever he have really understood and realized, whatever Vyasadeva is speaking. And these are the words that is spoken by Ganeshji. So once we bring this in our life, right, definitely not only all the obstacles, right, are removed, but also we get closer to the God. Because most of the times festival means enjoy madi. It's a one more excuse, one more reason to have masti, right? But then yes, yes, it's a joyous occasion, right, to celebrate the appearance. At the same time, right, yes, we should endeavor ourselves, we should reflect ourselves, we should contemplate ourselves. Like there's the same also with our 15th of August, 26th of January, and like this is the kind of these public days where we remember, we recognize the contribution, of the freedom fighters and so on, what they have done. Right? It's not that okay, we just unfold the national flag. We remember their sacrifices. Right? So yes, so on this day of Ganesh Chaturthi, yes, we pray at the lotus feet of our acharyas, so that they can remove all the obstacles in our path of studying Bhagavad Gita and applying these principles in our life. Yes, we need these, their blessings, their causeless mercy to proceed ahead. So yes, today we have a very interesting topic called success formula. Before that, I would like to share a simple story. This is the beginning days of our Krishna conscious movement, ISKCON. Um, some of you might know that, like Srila Prabhupada, he was at the age of 70, to follow the instruction of his spiritual master. He went to the West to spread this message of Bhagavad Gita in English language. And it was not easy. He had to go through so much struggle. And once he went there, he went to Boston, and then, of course, he went to Butler, Pennsylvania, and then he came to New York. And then once again, he was visiting Boston in US, and he saw that in the temple there used to be very queer, eccentric, abnormal person. Right? And of course, at that point of time, you don't know, who is crazy or who is abnormal. All the hippies were thinking that all the, so-called normal people are abnormal, what they are doing, and all the normal people were thinking that hippies were abnormal. Right? But anyway, right, this is the situation at that point of time where everybody was so much of, absorbed in this rock and roll and drugs and, whatever, ugly thing that we can think of. And at that point of time, yes, Srila Prabhupada was trying his best to transform the Ati Nicha Uchatakara. He was transforming these hippies into happies. And here in this Boston temple, he came across, there's so many beautiful devotees. They are, slowly starting Krishna consciousness. Like some of you might realize that, especially in India, also at this point of time, once you talk about Bhagavad Gita, it is so difficult, right? People don't have time, people don't have patience, people don't want to do it for various reasons, and forget about the West where they don't have any culture of Sanatana Dharma. And how Srila Prabhupada really transformed them. Yes, he was trying in so many ways, and then, after Srila Prabhupada went back to another place, one devotee called Satswarup Goswami and another devotee called Giriraj, he sent a message to Prabhupada That Prabhupada, there is this one eccentric fellow, abnormal fellow, who is really coming, right? It's coming and going, that's okay. But then sometimes he sleeps on the hall, sometimes he lies down, right? Oblivious to the surrounding, and it's creating a lot of disturbance and not so good ambience in our, when we are trying to create a spiritual ambience in this temple. And then once Srila Prabhupada heard about that later, and he just replied, "Why don't you tolerate? Yes, please encourage and engage him in the devotional service." That was it. And then later on, this boy, was an eccentric boy, he moved from Boston to New York. And from New York, he went to our West Virginia temple. And in our West Virginia temple, and lo and behold, in just a matter of time, this boy got initiated. He got Diksha from Srila Prabhupada, right? Seeing his sincerity. And at no point of time, right, he became one of the most prolific Sanskrit scholar. Right? And he has translated so many books from Sanskrit to English, Bengali to English. Now, his name was Kusakrata Prabhu. Why are you telling this story? Because sometimes when we really talk about, okay, why don't you read Bhagavad Gita? Or why don't you read our scriptures? The Mr. Doubt that is there in our mind, in our heart, comes out. No, 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 I don't know Sanskrit. Oh, I'm not intelligent enough. I cannot understand anything. Do you agree? This comes. But then, how come? How come a person like this who is really coming from the West without any background, how they really develop so much of taste? How not only taste of hearing and studying, but also dedicating their life to learn and to practice. Not only that, they really dedicated their life to spread that message. Yes, what kind of dedication and determination is required for that one? So yes, we might come from any background. Lord does not see our background. Lord sees that, no, where exactly we are heading to. Where exactly we are going to. Lord does not see where we are coming from. Lord does not see, like, you see, I'll give you one more example. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the one of the topmost saint, and also is considered as is not different than Radha Krishna, who appeared 500 years back. He was traveling all over South India to spread this message of Sankirtan. And then as he was going around, then he came to Simhachalam, Tirupati, and then he was in Srirangam. And then Srirangam, he found uh, that on this road. How many of you been to Srirangam? Oh, hardly anybody. Krishna. Like it is considered one of the biggest temple, largest temple, right, in the world. It's so not only a beautiful architecture, but also we see that the devotion, the seed of devotion has been really sprouted so long for thousands of years, and it's not very far in Tamil Nadu. Of course, as I said, in terms of architectural perspective, also, and it's one of the huge temple, and also from the sacrifice perspective, also there are so many Vaishnavas. They have sacrificed their life to protect the sanctity of the temple. But anyway, this is a story of 500 years back. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling, he saw that there was an illiterate Brahman. He was trying to recite Bhagavad Gita. At that point of time, he saw that lot of the so-called scholars were teasing, making fun of this person. Oh, you don't know how to recite Bhagavad Gita. How unfortunate, how pity. They were kind of scorning and teasing. But this person, he was oblivious to the surrounding, and he was somehow reading. And not only that, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that the tears were coming from his eyes. And seeing that, Mahaprabhu asked him, "Oh gentleman, oh Vipra, how it is so that we see that you are not able to read Bhagavad Gita, but tears coming from your eyes? What is the reason behind it?" And at that point of time, this gentleman replies, विप्र कहे मूर्ख आमी शब्दार्थ ना जानी शुद्ध शुद्ध गीता पढ़ी गुरु आज्ञा मानी. So he's saying that Vipra kahe murkha ami. Oh, Lord, I'm really murkha. I'm really fool. I'm unintelligent. Sabdartha na jani. I don't know the meanings of this and all these Sanskrit verses. But Suddha Asuddha Gita padi. And in my own imperfect ways, I'm just trying to read Bhagavad Gita because Guru Agya Mani. Because this is what my spiritual master has told, that you study Bhagavad Gita. That's what I am doing it. Right? Just by following the words of the spiritual master, we can really elevate ourselves to the next consciousness. And then Mahaprabhu asked, okay, fair enough that you are following your spiritual master and daily studying Bhagavad Gita. But then how come tears coming from your eyes? At that point of time, this Brahmana replies that, oh Lord, right? I'm just seeing, I read this cover page of Bhagavad Gita, where I see this Akhila Brahmanda Nayaka Krishna, right? Who is the Sarve Sarveshwara, who is the Yogeshwara, and he is just acting as a chariot driver of his devotee. Can anybody think of that? That the chairman of the multi-billionaire organization driving the car for the chauffeur or for one of the assistants? Right? Would it be possible? Because just at that point in time, Mahaprabhu replied, yes, you have understood the essence of this Bhagavad Gita, where it mentions that Lord can do anything for his devotees. That's the relationship of the Lord and his devotee. He's a Bhakta Vatsala. And Harigna Bhritya Vasyata. He gets captured by the love of his devotees, that he gets bound by the love of Mother Yasoda. He really carries the sandal of Nanda Maharaj. And he dances in front of the gopis. Gopi says, you jump, and he jumps. Why? Just because the love of the devotees. And he can do anything for their love. And the Mahaprabhu said, yes, really you have understood the meaning of Bhagavad Gita. It's not just by reciting or remembering all the 700 verses you become realized of Bhagavad Gita, but you should understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita. That what exactly the Lord is teaching and what exactly the devotee is reciprocating. That's what is there. Yes, maybe the contest of Bhagavad Gita is really war. The battlefield is transformed to a classroom. Right? But the message is really the message of love. Right? Like if you see Bhagavad Gita, yes, it has 700 verses, 18 chapters are there. Right? And you see, like, out of that, like maybe hardly any verses, right? 6 to 8 verses, where there is a discussion of fight. Most of the discussion that happens is really about, what should be our consciousness. Why? Like Arjuna also asked, maybe next time we'll discuss about it. Arjuna also asking that, what is my dharma? He's not asking what should I do. Right? And Krishna also could have replied that, oh Arjuna, you should fight. Then one verse, the discussion should have been over. But there is 700 verses of discussion. Right? And one will hear that Arjuna cites so many reasons why I should not fight. And Krishna should have remembered, like for a Kshatriya, if you want to boil their blood, then you have to remind them what are the atrocities that, the other parties they have done. You could have said, don't you remember Arjuna, how your Bhima was poisoned, how all of you were, in that Lakshagraha, you were being burnt, or what happened in that Asat Sabha, how Draupadi was robbed, in so many ways. Right? Just if you would have reminded this much to Arjuna, then it would forget about, let me go and first, forget this discussion. He would have really just gone ahead and killing everybody. But in Bhagavad Gita, there is not a single discussion about all these topics. Right? Not a single discussion of these topics. He's just Arjuna and Krishna. There is a discussion of what should be the dharma, what should be the kind of the consciousness of individual. Yes, all of us get really bewildered. Also, all of us go through this challenging situation externally and also internally in our mind. There's a constant battle happening inside our heart, inside our mind. How do we really deal with them? That's what Krishna is telling Arjuna, right? Yes, and how then can we really understand this message of Bhagavad Gita? He's saying, Sa ivaya maya tedya yoga prakta puratana bhakto si me sakha cheti rahasyam etad uttamam. Rahasyam, this is really confidential. Sometimes we might think that, oh, this book is available, we can read it. No, we might read the letters, we might read the verses, but then if you really want to understand and apply it, we have to approach the Lord and the Bhagavad Gita in a certain way. The qualification is given here. Who can really understand Bhagavad Gita? Bhakto si me sakha cheti. Only a devotee can understand Bhagavad Gita's message. Right? Otherwise, so many people might interpret or write so many commentaries. There are more than 800 commentaries are there in Bhagavad Gita. Right? Even before this Bhagavad Gita as it is published, there are hundreds and thousands of publications of Bhagavad Gita. But hardly any of these Bhagavad Gita publications could really transform the life of the people. But now after reading this edition of Bhagavad Gita as it is, right, because it is written by a devotee, because it is written, with what exactly Lord wants to share, right, it has transformed millions of lives, even in countries like Russia or Ukraine or Europe or Africa or Australia, whichever part you go, now you will find this Bhagavad Gita and people are taking it and their life getting transformed. Right? This is the what Lord Krishna wants to bring, that revolution in the life of everyone. Right? This Bhagavad Gita is not only for certain section of people. Right? Like yesterday in another forum we were discussing that. Once you talk about, let's say, a plus b whole square, right? What is the formula? A plus b square equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab. Right? And this formula is valid whether you talk about Bengaluru or this Silicon Valley of San Francisco, Bay Area, or you talk to any part of the world or any part of the religion or community, whatever it is. Right? The formula doesn't change. Right? Similarly, whatever is written in this Bhagavad Gita, they are universal principles. Now, that is applicable to everybody. So we cannot say that this book, right, like it's applicable to only certain section of people. It's it can be really applied, and we have seen that last time also. We quoted a couple of philosophers and Western philosophers and industrialists, celebrities. Why they really always take shelter of Bhagavad Gita? Because these are eternal. This is not based on some time, place, and circumstances. Right? This is really there for eternal. This because once we talk about any software or a manual in our company, we talk about version 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 11.0, and then we have iPhone 16 or things like that. Right? We can continue to upgrade. But have you seen a Bhagavad Gita different versions? Why? Because this manual is eternal. This is applicable at all point of time, at all places, all circumstances. That's universal and eternal, and we can really apply it in our life. Right? So yes, there's a nice formulas are there in this book. Nice medicines are there to cure our disease. But if we have some disease, can you go to a store and really tell to the pharmacist, no, I need that pink color bottle because that looks nice because I like pink. Can I say that? Or I can say that, no, I don't like this bitter, paracetamol medicines. I need something sweet. Can you give some sweet medicine? Is it possible? Because what is really happening, my friends, nowadays, right? Because of the lack of clarity, right? People are kind of following so many things because this is an easy way to approach some spirituality. They want to put some shortcuts, right? That's why there are so many cheaters are there to cheat us. The problem is not with them. Problem is the people, because they don't understand what is the value of the diamond, and we're trying to buy the diamond with a price of broken piece of glass. Right? We should understand, right? Nothing comes free. If somebody is saying that yes, we can really get spirituality or get into the essence of it, right, by just paying something or by doing something, right, is really cheating. Right? Like yes, sometimes we might also get free trailers of some nice movies. But if you want to watch the complete movie, you have to pay a price. Right? Similarly, yes, people talk about that. Yes, we can understand Bhagavad Gita, we can learn Bhagavad Gita. You just do this, do 5 minutes this, 10 minutes this. No, we have to put our effort. Like somebody wants to get a PhD degree, somebody wants to be then some topmost hackathon specialist or some big data scientist. You have to put an effort. And how can you really expect that? Okay, I want to be a spiritualist. I want to understand Bhagavad Gita just by kind of taking his just superficially. I just try to take it. No, if you want to really apply and get benefited, we have to really understand, put up some effort, right? Because first of all, we should understand that the price, right, the value that anybody can deliver from Bhagavad Gita, so much. It's called the true dhana, the true treasure, right? And but then what we are trying to pay, right, to get that prize, the treasure is really minuscule. The price is minuscule. But then what we are doing, last time we were discussing very much in detail, that how we are paying so much for a little pleasure. You remember that we talked about ye sangsparsaja bhoga, how the pleasure of the material world, they have three qualities. It has a beginning and end. It always comes with pain, and it is always limited. We call BPL. Right? But then when you talk about the spiritual pleasure in the spiritual world, it's unlimited, Sachidananda. Right? Yes, we need to really understand that. Otherwise, what do? We just kind of get some one gulab jamun or one rasagulla for maybe 1 lakh rupees. It doesn't work that, right? Just a little bit of pleasure, momentary pleasure, we have to sacrifice so much, right? But the Lord is saying, yes, so much pleasure is really awaiting you. Please take it. I'm really waiting to give it to you, right? And for that transformation of heart, from that bhoga vritti to seva vritti, we discussed last time what exactly is required, right? We should be convinced that yes, what are the viruses I have, I need to transform them from that lust to love, from the greed to generosity, from the selflessness to from selfishness to selflessness, and so on, right? And then yes, we should seek the advice and support and of the people who are practicing genuinely, those paths, in the process of transformation. Right? We should seek their support. And then, yes, as we follow the rules and guidance of given by our well-wishers, and we should have also safety net, like we should have an umbrella, so that we should be constantly not bombarded still, with those negative vibes, right? And we'll talk about in detail how to do it. And at the same time, how we should have a spiritual connection to the Lord. And this is how we kind of summarize last time. Any other comments or questions from the last time? Anybody would like to share before we proceed? Anybody? Any one or two topics that you might have remembered? Because I know otherwise all goes on top of the head. We hear, and then by the time we come out of the door, it's all evaporates, sublimates. Okay. Any thoughts? Any comments from the last session? Anybody would like to share? Okay. You're still absorbing it, assimilating it. Anybody? Anybody? Any one topic? Yes, please.
Yeah. So last week we also discussed like what we need to take in terms of the price. Listen.
Yes, yes,
So yeah, like our time should be there, our effort should be there.
yes, yes,
Like, and
yes,
what we are going to lose is like
yeah,
our worry, the anxiety,
yes,
the
yes,
stress.
yes,
So
yes. We talked about 3C, our commitment, our consistency, and our cultivation. And so you have to put some effort. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, yes. I know there would be so many reasons, right, to miss the class, miss the school. But then we know that once we have that consistency in the school, we'll get more and more tests, right? And going to the school and having fun. Yes, our learning can be a fun. Okay, okay. So in Bhagavad Gita, really Lord talks about 5 topics. He talks about Ishvara, that is supreme controller. The Jiva, that that how any living entities they are part and parcel of the Lord. And there is a Kala, there is a time, and there is a karma. Especially in our subsequent sessions, we'll discuss in detail about each of the topics, especially karma, what is different meaning of karma, how good things happen to bad people, how bad things happen to good people, how the karma, what is the law of karma, and so on, and what is the prakriti, what is the law of nature. Right? So yes, thanks to at least at our generation, we have some understanding of Mahabharata, that what is the genesis of Mahabharata, and how this sons of Bharat, they were this Pandu and Dhritarashtra, and Pandu was the king because Dhritarashtra was not eligible to take up this kingdom. And then there was an untimely death of Pandu, and Kunti had to take care of all the 5 sons. And at the same time, like to as a stopgap arrangement, Dhritarashtra was really taking care of the Hastinapur. At the same time, the evil sons of Dhritarashtra, like Duryodhana and co, they were making so many plans to kill, to annihilate all the Pandavas. Right? Though they were supposed to be the rightful inheritors of that kingdom. And yes, they were putting them into the fire. They, so many, mischievous things that they were doing, right, against the Pandavas, again and again and again. And they were put into exile. They came back, and they were asking even a 5, villages to rule, because as a Kshatriya means you have to do your duty, right, to take care of these citizens. And at that point of time, Lord Krishna, he himself came, right, as a peace of messenger, as a messenger of peace to Hastinapur. Right? And do you know what happened to Lord Krishna? He failed. Lord Krishna failed as a messenger of peace. Right? He failed. Because, see, Lord, He is the Supreme Lord, He is the controller of everyone and everything. But at the same time, He gives that freedom, He gives that free will to everyone to choose their paths. So yes, at that point of time, not only Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra did listen to Krishna, even this Duryodhana, he wanted to harass Krishna. Right? How many of you been to Kanchipuram? There's a Pandava Dhuta temple. Yes, Prabhu, or Radhakrishna Prabhu, and we have visited. Yes, very beautiful deity, big, huge deity of Krishna in Kanchipuram, not very far from here. There are so many Divya Desams are there. So I would request, recently I was speaking to one of my colleague, he was saying that, oh, I'm going to Thailand, I'm going to Vietnam, and have some party time. But then, hardly we just go just a couple of hours drive, to all this Melkote, or, to this Kanchipuram or Srirangam and all these places where, there is some treasure of our spirituality, treasure of our Sanatan Dharma actually. Hardly people know about that. So yes, in this Pandavadutta temple, we can see that how Krishna at that point of time really showed his universal form to establish that how he is the supreme. But still, Dhritarashtra or Duryodhana or none of his friends could recognize Krishna, could listen to Krishna. You see, once we are covered, right, we cannot really understand what is right and wrong. So like if there is a sun, right, in the complete daylight, but if you put our small 5 rupees coin or 10 rupees coin close to our ears, and we say that, oh, there is no God, there is no Lord. The problem is what? Is that sun is not there, or we are bound, we have closed the eyes with those our attachments of our own conceptions, our own opinions. Right? At that point, what do? Acharya is saying that the first verse that we chant in the beginning of the class, Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya. Timirandhasya, yes, we are put into darkness. Oh Acharyas, please open our eyes so that we can see everything, everyone from the point of view of the scriptures. Not through our Charma Chakshu, but through the Jnana Chakshu. So, otherwise, yes, you see that how Dhritarashtra and all his sons, nobody could recognize Krishna even though Krishna was personally present. Because, of course, as we said, next time we'll discuss in detail. But then, right, some people say that, oh, where is God? Can you show me God? But yes, Lord was there in front of them, but still they could not recognize. Krishna was there in front of Kamsa, but Kamsa could not recognize. Right? Lord Ram was there in front of Ravan, Ravan could not recognize. So it is not that just by seeing we can believe. What is really required? We have to remove that 10 rupees coin of attachment. Right? Then really we can see the sunlight, the knowledge. Right? Yes. And moving on to this is the background, this context. When Lord Krishna failed, then there was a war was inevitable. It was about to start, and all these Akshonis of Sena, they came together on the Pandava side and Kaurava side, and they had to fight because they have to annihilate the irreligious principle that were established by these evil sons of Dhritarashtra. And at this point of time, the war is about to start, and that's where the beginning of Bhagavad Gita happens. And yes, this is the overall structure of this first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where we talk about and we hear about the diplomacies of Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. And then we talk about, at that point of time, there are very clear signs of the victory of Pandavas. And then we'll see that how Lord enters. Sometimes we see the movie, how the hero enters. We'll see only dust storm, and then we'll see the foot or the shoe of the hero, and then you'll just turn it around, right? And you'll see the face. Right? But then here we'll see in Bhagavad Gita how Lord enters the scene. Okay, and then and at that point of time, the discussion happens between Arjuna and Krishna, and he gives these 4 reasons why he should not fight. Okay, let's proceed to the first verse of Bhagavad Gita. Please repeat after me. Dhritarashtra vacha dharma kshetre kurukshetre samavetayotsavaha mamaka pandavascheva kimakurvata sanjaya. Yes, we can read the translation. Anybody else can read it?
Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, deciding to fight, what to do?
What did they do? So here, right, each of these words, each of the verses, there are so many meanings. It is mentioned that prati sloke prati aksare nana artha kaya. In each of the words, in each of the letter, there are so many meanings to it. We'll just try to get a glimpse of it. As we said, during this Gita course, we are not going verse by verse in detail, but we'll just take some certain themes and we'll move forward, just to give a trailer. So here, the first word of the Bhagavad Gita says Dhritarashtra. What is the meaning of Dhritarashtra? Who is Dhritarashtra? Dhritarashtra is the blind king who having 100 sons. At the same time, what is the meaning of Dhritarashtra? Rashtra means what? Nation, the kingdom. Dhruta means attached. Attached. He was the king who was so much of attached to the kingdom that somehow or other he wanted to just continue to hold that kingdom, and not only that, he wanted to pass on that to his sons. Once again, here we see that how if a person is so much of attached to certain ways of doing it, certain opinions and certain thoughts and certain actions, and how it really leads to the failure, the death of not only yours but also the entire community who is really following you. That's true. Even if we can see, even in a corporate world also, there are so many biggies like that. The point time, Enron, or in India, we used to have one big edtech company, right? You heard, it, right? I don't want to talk about the names here, but he was so much of attached to making this educational sector through this techies, right? And he wanted to spread all over the world, but then he was kind of not appropriately doing his funding or doing his financials appropriately. It's just a matter of time, he completely collapsed because the basics were not right, the fundamentals were not right, because he was attached to the only numbers. Right? Yeah. Here, Dhritarashtra, yes, he was attached to the kingdom. How can I really enjoy? How my children continue to enjoy? But then he forgot what was his responsibility, what is the duties. Right? As a kind of a head of the institution, head of the family, head of a company, right? Not only I should focus on what is my right, right? How I should be attached to the right, but how I should really focus on the process, how I should really focus on my responsibilities. You know, is the one of the first thing that the first verse, the first word is teaching us. Right? He's saying, yes, the place where this battle was really going to happen is a dharma khetra, is a place of religion, because Parashuram, he had performed so much austerities, right? And it's the place where sages, they have conducted so much sacrifices, right? It's not an ordinary place. Uh, and what they did, Kurukshetra, yes, that is the place of Kurukshetra. Samaveta, they all come together. Yuyutsavaha, for desiring to fight. Who? Who came to fight? Mamaka Pandava, right? He was a king of the whole Hastinapur kingdom. He was a Kuru Naresh, right? As a Naresh, you have a responsibility towards all the citizens. Not that these are my sons and these are your Pandava's sons. These are the Pandu sons. You see, from the very first verse, it is the mentality of Dhritarashtra, that envious nature, that competitive nature, the jealousy nature. Right? Once you have that one, and it really drags you down. Right? That's why they say, right, the difference between illness and wellness. What is the illness? It starts with I, because aham and mama. Right? Once you keep everything, myself centric, right, then I cannot progress. That is a disease consciousness. But then once you expand that consciousness, that how everybody is a part and parcel of the Lord, how I am related to everybody, right? Yes, we talk about this Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Right? That's the kind of the concept that our scripture has given. But now we say Chota Parivar, Sukhi Parivar. Forget about the joint family, about nuclear family, now they got sub-nuclear family, and only single parent. Right? Why? Because once again, does it really, help me? What's in it for me? If they say, right? Like all the spouse thinks that, okay, what's in it for me? As long as I have this me and your culture, me and you culture, Mamaka Pandava, Meri Teri, Meri Tumara. Jab tak, even in a family, family is supposed to be one unit. Right? But still, there is so much of difference. And as long as that, right, yes, difference are bound to be there because we have two different individuals. But then, there might not be, right, like same opinion, right, in our deity also. Sometimes some devotee says that, okay, we'll give yellow garland. Somebody says, no, we'll give white garland. Right? There is no difference. There is no problem with respect to that. Right? But then one day we have to offer white garland, another day we have to offer yellow garland. Right? Then the others, they have to really respect it. They have to follow it. No, I cannot say that, no. Right? Like, we kind of, because I like it yellow garland, every day there should be yellow garland only. Right? Yes, at house also, definitely, there can be difference of opinion because there are two different individuals are there. But then, what is the higher cause? What is the kind of higher principles that we need to uphold as a family? We need to really understand that. Yes, our focus is that how we can really bring up a nice children. Once that is the focus, then the so-called differences amongst ourselves can be really subdued or even eliminated. Because most of the times we don't really think of the higher principles, higher cause, we kind of think of ourselves, we forget the essence. And we start finding Mamaka Pandava. This is my project, this is your project. I'll allocate as much possible to myself, and so that your project can go on real. Right? And then he's saying that Kima Kurvata Sanjaya. Like he's saying that Mataji, मत हरि बोल प्रभु हियर आफ्टर यस यस इंद्र कृष्ण प्रभु इंद्र कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण what is this mamaka pandavas yes we're talking about the families you know how there has to be the higher cause and yes we're discussing that how Dhritarashtra is asking that they had assembled together to fight and it's Kim Akurvata Sanjay. Oh Sanjay, what are they doing? So you can say that, oh, you have gone to some restaurant and then somebody asks, oh, in the restaurant, what did they do? Hey, if you are in the restaurant, you'll eat there. Right? And why he is asking Kim Akurvata Sanjay? Why he is asking, what are they doing? Because at that point of time, still Dhritarashtra, he was hopeful that because the influence of Dharmakhetra, maybe Pandavas once again will compromise. He was fearful that because the influence of this Dharmakhetra, maybe my sons, they will kind of, just, compromise and they will kind of, just go away. Or they were thinking that, maybe still, right, there is a good hope that, yes, though everybody said that, my sons were so evil, they were not following the process and rules and regulations, they will lose, but still I have some hope that they will win. Right? You see how you kind of think in so mischievous ways, right? Mischievous ways, you kind of want to always ruin and destroy the other party, right? At that point of time, right? Sometimes we might really understand. Yes, now they have decided to fight. So who will win? So what are the success factors for any victory? What are the success factors for any victory? Yes, in a project or in any place or as a person, what are the success factors? What makes a person success? What makes a project as a success? Yes, skills, teamwork, planning, yes, time management, consistency, fundamentals, yes, to do right thing, yes, discipline, very good, dedication, yes, commitment, very good, objective, yes. That's what we really define in a company. What is your objective? And then you really go down the details. Yes. Yes. Self-control, very good. Excellent. Excellent. Right? So, like we just kind of listed down. Yes. They say they now put the right people in the bus. Right? If you're in the journey. And that's what I say in the corporate world. Right? So, yes, who has to be the driver, who has to be the conductor, who has to be the passenger, and who has to correct, right? That needful, right? So you have the right passengers, who has to drive, right? You identify who should be the commander, who should be the follower, and then how everything should be executed. And then you offer them the right way. Now you kind of give appropriate compensation, right? You define the right structure, right? What exactly is the result or the benefit out of it, right? And then you do analysis of strength and weakness, the SWOT analysis. Most of the management students, you might have heard that. Strength, weakness, opportunities and threats. Okay, this is my strength, this is a weakness. Okay, then how we can really leverage our strength and kind of focus on others' weakness and how we can really destroy them. And we identify what are the opportunities for us to grow, and at the same time we understand what are the threats, and then we really kill them. Right? And then you understand, okay, what is the pain and gain, and make a solid plan of action. Right? And then, right, you make everyone with you, you make a teamwork, you ensure that everybody is with you and ensure that everybody is positive towards that goal. And Duryodhan had all of them. Do you know that? Duryodhan had all of them. But then what was the result? What was the result? He failed. Huh? Yes. I would really like to understand before that, right? in this verse number 3. Right? Here, Sanjay is speaking what is really happening in the battlefield to Dhritarashtra. He's saying Duryodhan is speaking to the commander. Right? Pasyaitam Pandu Putranam Acharya Mahatim Chamam Vyudham Drupada Putrena Tava Sisyena Dhimata. He's saying that, oh teacher, oh Dronacharya, you see, how this Pandu Putras of the Pandavas, they have come to fight. And Acharya Mahatim Cham, Vyudham Drupada Putrena. All this is arranged by their commander. Who is the commander? Drupada Putra. Who is Drupada Putra? Dhrushtadimna. Tava Sisyena Dhimata. He's saying Tava Sisya. He is your disciple also. And you see that his intelligence. Right? So, why Duryodhan is really talking about Drupad Putra, Dhrushtadimna? Anybody knows? He could have told so many other things. Right? But why he is really focusing on Dhrushtadimna? Yes, very good. Yes, very good, very good. At that point of time, there was an enmity between Drupad and Dronacharya. Right? There's a long story, maybe we'll discuss sometime later. But then, right, Drupad had kind of, somehow insulted Dronacharya, and Dronacharya, he kind of, had that made up that mind that yes, I will defeat Drupada, and through Arjuna, he defeated Drupad. And Drupada also had made that determination that yes, somehow or other, I will once again defeat and kill Dronacharya. And he performed a big sacrifice, and from there, this Yajnaseni, Drupadi, and Dhrushtadimna, they appeared, right? But at the same time, Dronacharya knew that this Dhrushtadimna who has really appeared to kill me, but as a Brahmana, as a teacher, this is my duty also to teach. So he taught Dhrushtadimna when he came to take the lessons from Dronacharya. He gave all the lessons, and now Duryodhan is really taunting his teacher. You see how foolish you are. You taught your student this Dhrushtadimna. Now he is so nicely arranged, and he is there to kill all of us. Right? So once again, you see yes, he's understanding, but at the same time, in a way, how he's disrespecting his spiritual master, his teacher. Right? At that point of time, he could have, asked, his teacher, oh, Dronacharya, all of these Pandavas are your students. You know what is their strength and weakness. Please let us know. How can we really, leverage their weakness? It would have been so better, right? Instead of really, disrespecting the spiritual master, how you had done something wrong, right? See, once again, the life of the Pandavas and the Kauravas. The Pandavas, especially Arjuna and so on, they were always focused to improve themselves, right? Going to the different devatas, doing so much of sacrifices so that they can really upgrade themselves. But then the Kauravas, right? They were doing all the mischievous things in their life. They were trying to prove themselves that they are right, and they were taking curse from everybody, like Karna and Duryodhan and everybody. Right? So we should introspect ourselves. Is our life is a life of blessings or curses? Are we really getting the well-wishers and the blessings of the elders, of the of the people, or are we really just getting the cursing of everybody because of our sinful and mischievous activities? So here, we see that how Duryodhan's whole life was just trying to prove himself rather than improving himself. The same quality of Karna also. How much kind of curses he had received. But then how? Always Arjuna was thinking, yes, still I have an opportunity to improve. How there is an opportunity for me to learn, right? Rather than focusing only on earning. How there is a focus on to grow, right? Rather than just go through the life. Right? And yes, and then he's saying that to once again that aparyaptam tadasmakam, right? Yes, he's telling once again Dronacharya that all of our like the soldiers and all the infantry, it's aparyaptam, it's so much, and because it is protected by Bhishma. But then once you talk about Pandavas, it is limited, because only Bhim is there. Right? He didn't talk about anybody else because he knew that Bhima had taken that vow. Right? He had taken 3 vows that I will kill each of the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra. And yes, I will break the thigh of Duryodhan because he had insulted Draupadi. And also, I will take out the blood from Dushasan. And he was really very fearful of Bhima because he knew that what is his strength. Right? And then, right, there is so many other reasons are there. We can discuss in detail what Duryodhan talked about. But then let's understand what are the kind of signs in the first chapter given, which is the actual reasons of success, actual cause of success. Anybody knows? How in first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned very clearly, yes, Pandavas are going to win. Yes. So yes, that's a very nice story. Some of you might have heard this story. Anybody knows this story? Yes. What is the story? Once, this before the starting of the war, right? This Duryodhan and Arjuna, they came to Lord Krishna because everybody knew that like Krishna is really supreme, right? He has so much of strength, and whoever kind of be with like Krishna, that he will win. And so yes, Duryodhan went and he sat near the face of Krishna, and Arjuna also came later and he started sitting on the lotus feet of Krishna. And then as soon as Krishna opened his lotus eyes, he saw that Arjuna was sitting and he smiled and he said, "Oh Arjuna, what can I do for you?" And then Duryodhan said, "Oh, don't you know that I came first? And you should have really asked me." And at that point of time, Arjuna said, "Oh Lord, what can I really ask?" Uh, like at that point of time, Krishna also said, Duryodhan, don't you know that he's younger brother and I also saw him first? So let me ask him and then after that I'll take care of you also. And then Duryodhana was getting really nervous, what Arjuna will ask. Then Arjuna asked, "Oh Lord, yes, I want to ask something." But then Krishna stopped him. Say, just because two of you are here, I'll kind of, have two options for you. One option is that I will be there alone, without fighting, without any weapons. And for other one, I will give me Narayani Sena, where each of my soldiers has equal potency as I am. And what is your choice? And then Arjuna said, "Oh Krishna, I need you." And Duryodhana was feeling so happy. How foolish is Arjuna? Right? He was really offering this Narayana Sena where each of the soldiers have the equal strength of Krishna, and he really let go. And then he said, but externally he said, "Oh Krishna, what to do? Thank you. And I'm very happy. Now let me go. What to do? Now I have been given this one only." Then he proceeded further. And then at that point in time, Krishna said to Arjuna, "Arjun, what you have done? Arjun, हार निश्चित है तेरी, और तू सदा रहेगा उदास." देखो, वो माखन ले गया दुर्योधन और छाछ बचा है तुम्हारे पास. And at that point in time, Arjuna said, "कृष्णा, जीत निश्चित है मेरी, भक्त कभी ना होता उदास. माखन लेकर क्या करूं, माखन चोर है मेरे पास." What is the meaning of it? Right? Some of you might not understand Hindi. Right? Krishna asked Arjuna, "Oh Arjuna, oh now you are bound to be defeated. Because you see, now Duryodhana has taken all the Narayani Sena. He has taken the butter, and whatever is the buttermilk is remaining, that's for you." And at that point in time, Krishna was so confident. He was saying that, "Oh Krishna, definitely your devotees are going to win." Why? Because what I will do with this makhan? Because I have makhan chor. I have the Lord who really brings, treasure of makhan. Right? That's what, the very, very important characteristics of a devotee. Right? Because they really see that where is the main switch of this whole building. First, let me switch that on. Then I will focus on switching on the respective rooms, fans and lights. Right? I should really focus where is the root of the tree. I will water the root of the tree and then whole tree will get nourished. First, I will understand what is the objective, the priorities of my CEO or the board, and then I will define my project. Rather than I will kind of get best of the individuals, best of the funding maybe, right? Best of the resources, best of the technology platform. But if it is not aligned to the priorities and the objectives of the CEO or board, is the project is going to be successful? Right? So it's so clear, right, that how we need to really understand what exactly the will and the desire of the Lord. So for a devotee, what he does, he accepts the supremacy of the Lord, and he aligns, his words and his thoughts and deeds with respect to the words, actions, and thoughts and the instructions of the Supreme Lord. Not only he accepts, he aligns, and he acts, right, for the pleasure of the Lord. This is the quality of a devotee. This is the quality of a successful person, right? How you are really keeping, whatever you want to do as per the charter defined by the Lord, or charter defined, employee does as per the charter defined by the organization. Are we okay so far? Or any questions or comments? Okay. So as we go further, right? Sometimes people say, no, like especially whenever you go for book distribution, they say that, oh, Prabhuji, no, I don't want to, read this Bhagavad Gita, touch this Bhagavad Gita, because they say that, once you have this Bhagavad Gita in your home, there will be a fight, because Krishna incited Arjuna to fight. But then we don't understand that. Like in this beautiful verse, Lord Krishna says, that Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanutara, wherever there is a Krishna and there is a Arjuna, there are bound to be three things: Sri, Vijaya, Bhuti, Nitinu. Whenever there is a Krishna, whenever there is a Bhagavad Gita, you are bound to have victory. You are bound to have, extraordinary power. You are bound to have the opulence. Right? It's not that, right? This Lord Krishna will take away everything from you. Lord Krishna has everything to offer to all of us. It is really up to us. How do you really accept it? Yes, but most of the times we really focus on the patch up work, right? If somebody has some maybe some boil here, it's okay. We put some band-aid, right? We feel that, oh, that will make my life healthy. But then if it is happening again and again, I should do the blood test. I should understand what is the infection that I have received in the blood, and accordingly I should take the medicine. Right? I should understand that I am trying again and again to be happy, to be successful, but again and again I am really losing. Right? Even the so-called successful people, they are committing so much of heinous activities of suicide, shooting, and so sad to hear last week in a school, right? There was shooting, in the place where we are trying to follow. Right? Earlier, when we were talking about the schools, there were some statistics. The problems in the schools were like chewing gums, throwing chalks, talking in the back. But nowadays, what is happening in the schools? Shooting, pregnancy, drugs. In the last week, once again, there was some school in South India and a college in South India. They, the police raided and found hundreds of kgs of drugs in India, my friend. It's in South India, where is supposed to be the rich in the spiritual culture. This is what really we are heading to, because we have forgotten the basics. We are just trying to see that, okay, right? We are just trying to get and focus only on the skills. We are focusing on how we can earn 5 digits, 6 digits, 7 digits. And yes, beg, borrow, steal, and we want to be success. Right? Yes. At the same time, how can you really, just in the fear of adversity, let's try to do anything and everything. But then once we learn this Bhagavad Gita, we learn that by just taking the principles of Bhagavad Gita, a crying Arjuna became a confident Arjuna. Right? Yes, skill is important, but more important skill is really the will. Right? Yes, and it's not only what you do it, but how you do it. And that is the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. Right? Lord is telling in Bhagavad Gita that with which consciousness you should really do your duty. Right? Yes, it's not only focus on the earning, but focus on the learning, in your journey. Not only focus on the success, but also the happiness, right? And focus on during the difficult situation, during the vipatti, focus on the sampatti, right? How you can transform that adversity to the opportunity. Right? Yes, it is possible, right? How we can really have that, this so-called, people talk about this growth mindset in the corporate world nowadays. Right? Yes, we can do that by focusing on the process, and that's what we really learn, from this one. And yes, there are so many, signs of victory for Pandavas in this section, where we see that this battle, filled. Where was it happening? It was happening in Kurukshetra. It's called Dharma Khetra, Kurukshetra. Right? So yes, whatever, wherever we are, whichever the place we are, how we can transform into also a Dharma Khetra. How can we make our environment auspicious? Right? Because whenever there is auspiciousness, there are bound to be auspicious results will come out. But whenever we go home, there is so much of negative energy at home. Or because we carry the negative energy from our office, from the bars or whatever, wherever we go. Right? We carry the same negative energy at home. Right? And then whenever there is negative energy, there is so much of chaos. Right? Yes. But our, especially in our culture, in the Vedic culture, in how ghar ek mandir they say, and how you have to make our house as a auspicious place of auspiciousness. How do we make it? Yes, not only external cleanliness, but also how this external cleanliness can really help us in maintain the internal cleanliness in our heart. Yes, we always give this. Earlier we used to call the houses as a bhavans. Like Gopal Bhavan or Ranganath Bhavan. You have heard the Krishna Bhavan. Right? Why they used to call this house as a bhavan? Why? What is the meaning of bhavan? Bhavan means like in this house, Lord is in the center. Lord is in the front. Bha means Bhagavan. Right? In this house, Lord is the master. But if you really take out that bha from bhavan, what really happens? Ban. Ban means what? Forest. And forest who lives? Animals. And animals what they do? Kill each other. So if you don't keep the Lord in the center, what it really happens? The house becomes a forest. And in the forest what happens? Each of the members, they really jorjar muloktar. Right? How we can really, the strongest is the mightiest and he really wins. Right? Who can shout louder at home? He or she wins. Either it's the parents or the children or the spouse or whoever it is. Right? That's the rule of the jungle. But then once we have the Lord in the center, right? Then the whole atmosphere changes. Right? Because at that point of time, we recognize that there is someone, to whom we respect, and we understand that we are not the controller or enjoyer of this house. We are just the caretaker of the house. Same at family also, right? If the children, they have so much of respect for the parents, you see there will be so much of, friendliness amongst the brothers. Because there is no respect for the parents, at this point of time, my friends, there is so much of, if you talk about all the civil suits in our courts, it's all about fighting amongst the brothers for the property. Right? Why it is so? Right? Because really, they might say that I love you, my father or mother, but they really don't have any love for them. Right? You cannot believe, I'm just telling you a true story. Right? One of our village actually used to be a very big landlord. And you cannot believe just the person when he was dead, he was taken to the cremation ground. In the cremation ground only the two brothers started fighting. Who will take which property? In the cremation ground. Right? What exactly the soul of the father would be thinking at that point? Why I really left so much of opulence in the property for my children? At least if I would not kept, they would have not have fighted. Right? It's a responsibility because most of the times we tell our children study and work hard like asses and develop the mood and behavior of the monkeys because that's what they have learned. That you are coming from monkeys, yes, don't be surprised if they will act like monkeys. But if you really create a spiritual culture at home, right, keeping the Lord in the center with the right values, the right foundation, then definitely they will not behave like the monkeys or the animals. They will have so much of love and respect amongst each other. Right? That's why you always say, between the couple there should be a divine couple. The divine couple, Lakshmi Narayana, Radha Krishna, all this, these are the divine couple. Once we keep them in our center of our life, then our life can really become so auspicious. Right? Yes. What is the Duryodhana mentality? Duryodhana mentality was to really focus only on energy of the Lord. Ravan's mentality was to enjoy Mother Sita. We also want only Dhan. Right? We only want Lakshmi, but we don't want Lakshmi Pati. We don't worship Mother Lakshmi. And all the Matajis, we can really understand, can that girl, right, ideally, They will be happy without their husband? No. They want to be with their husband. But if the girls are there with their husband, they are so peaceful. Similarly, Lakshmi, Mother Lakshmi is so happy. Sripati Prabhu, can you organize a chair for Mataji? Okay. So here, yes, how? In a culture where the woman has to be respected, right? How? In a house, all the members need to be respected in a house, in a family, right? And then house becomes really a temple. Right? All of us agree so far, or any questions or comments? This is how we can really learn from the principles of Bhagavad Gita what made Arjuna success, Pandava success. Because he had with him Madhava. Madhava means the husband of the goddess of fortune. The fight was really happening in a Kurukshetra, in an auspicious place. That's how everything was so auspicious. Yes, please. Okay, maybe if you just hold on for a couple of minutes and we'll just wrap up this theme and then we'll come back. And then there was also the positive vibration. It is mentioned that, yes, at that point before the start of the war, there was so much of conch shells, blowing of conch shells from the Kaurava side and Pandava side. First led by Bhisma and so on, and then from the Pandava side, it was led by Krishna and Arjuna, the Panchajanya and all that Sankhas. But when it is mentioned that the Pandavas they blew their conch shell, it was called Dibya Sankho. Right? And once the Kauravas they heard that Dibya Sankho, their hearts got settled. Right? Because this is once again the effect of the positive sound vibration. Right? And it's once again how we can create a positive sound vibration of that council at our house. Right? Yes, and that's all possible. Last time also we discussed, right? How each of the places had some sound energy. Like you talked about any negative places like bars or this and that, there is a negative energy. If you go to office, there is an energy. If you go to court, there is energy. And if you have a house, there is energy. In a temple, there is an energy. Right? How we can create a positive energy, spiritual energy at our house. Right? And that can really be accessed so strongly by the chanting of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Because it is said that Lord and His names are non-different. Abhinnatvam Nama Namina. See, this is so we requested last time as well, and this is one of the fundamental requests that we will have all of you. That yes, please attract the spiritual vibration at your house, at your heart, through the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Right? And then we also see that how Arjuna was really soured with so many wonderful astras and shastras and chariot, by all the devatas as a blessings. And on top of the chariot, there was a Kapi Dhwaja. What does the Kapi Dhwaja means? Lord Hanuman was sitting on the, flag, right? So yes, it means that whenever the devotees of the Lord are there, Hanuman is there, right? Definitely there is a victory. So how we should have also positive company amongst yourself, how we should receive the blessings of the devotees of the Lord, right? And they will empower us, they will bless us, to take us forward. Right? Yes, get the right association. Yes, we are worried about the association of our kids. Similarly, our elders, the spiritual authorities, they also worry what exactly, my children are doing. Maybe they are very senior in the age, but what kind of a culture they have? Where to go? Where do they take shelter? They go shelter in the friends to take them to some ugly places, or watching some sports and games and drinking this and that, or we have right friends who can really take us to the right direction and who can really help us in contemplating what is the purpose of life, meaning of life, and tell us how to make us grounded and make our foundation stronger. Right? Yes, let's develop, and these are the opportunities where we can find the right friends who are not there to just drag each other just like crabs, right? But here we are trying to create a culture, try to create a community where we can uplift each other's consciousness, right? We don't have any other agenda. When Srila Prabhupada, that's what he talks about, as it is. Arjuna, like Krishna's effort was to how we can really elevate the consciousness of the Pandavas. The same and the mood of these societies, we're trying our best how we can really uplift the consciousness of everybody so that they can really get closer to the Lord, to the Krishna. Still, okay, we understand it, but then another big doubt that we have in our mind. Yes, all is good, but then this is one of the most dangerous disease that we have. Would like to know what is a disease in the path of spirituality? Anybody knows? Huh? I don't have time. I have time to watch hours of reels. I have time to, sit for hours and do gossiping, about someone that I don't care, right? But then once you talk about reading Bhagavad Gita, hearing the scriptures, and investing ourselves, then we say, I don't have time. No time disease, right? But then here we see that, right, in this situation, when the war was about to start, the concerts have been blown, right? And Arjuna is saying, oh Krishna, Ratham Sthapaya me Achyuta, oh Achyuta, you are infallible. You're always, true to your devotees, whatever they say. And now this is my request. Please take this Ratha on the middle of the two armies. I want to see what is really happening. So you can kind of, in a contemporary example, you can see that when this final match is going to happen, and the best batsman, he really goes to the middle of the crease, and he asks the coach, "Oh, what should I do right now?" Right? Like there's so much of favor going on at that point of time. Still, the main batsman at that point was Arjuna. He's telling Krishna, Krishna, wait, pause. What we are doing? Are you doing the right thing? You see, there's one more. So if you know this Mahabharata and all this in little bit in detail, there was one more time Arjuna had to, be in front of all the Kauravas. Anybody knows what was that? Anybody knows? This when they were in the Virat, right? Yeah. Then Uttara, like he said that, oh, now like these Kauravas are coming, and he went in front to really fight. But then when the Uttara, he really saw that all the Kauravas led by, Bhisma, Dronacharya, and everybody, he really kind of started doing U-turn and started running. And at that point of time, Arjuna dragged him. Was to say Bruhanala at that point of time. Was a dance teacher. Right? He said, Chalo, let me kind of go and fight with them. At that point of time, Arjuna didn't say that. Oh, my Gandiva is really kind of secking. I am really getting nervous. How can I really fight with so many people? Did he say that? No. He was really hell bent on to teach a lesson to everybody, because he was really loyal to at that point of Virata kingdom. But how it is changing now at this point of time? There are multiple reasons are there. First reason is that this whole Bhagavad Gita, the way it has been said, the way it has been instructed, and just like we can understand from an analogy at a house. Sometimes a daughter-in-law, comes to the house, and the mother-in-law, how she teaches the daughter-in-law, she will tell that if there's a house, there's a daughter, and there's a son, she will tell the daughter, बेटी तेरे को पता नहीं है क्या हम सुबह सुबह ऐसे मंगल आरती करते हैं घर पे. In a way, she is not telling the daughter, she is telling daughter-in-law. हमारे घर पे ऐसे होता है. Because he cannot tell directly, because he has not invested in that relationship yet with the daughter-in-law. Indirectly, she will use the daughter. She will sometimes curse the daughter to ensure that the daughter-in-law learns the lesson. Right? Similarly, here Krishna is telling to the whole society through Arjuna. Arjuna is never in confusion, but Arjuna is really just a medium to teach us, to tell us what should be the duty of all of us. That's the first thing. And the second thing, of course, right? Of course, when there was this fight in the Virat war, right? Of course, Arjuna wanted to just teach them a lesson, right? That how, right, they can be really defeated. But here, they had multiple, phases of negotiation, and now this is the time to war and to really kill each other. Right? At that point in time, he was really thinking whether it's the right thing to do it or not. So yes, my friends, it is very important. So whatever we do it, we need to pause it, right, and then respond it instead of just reacting to the situation. Right? We cannot just say that, oh, we are going for a long drive and we don't have time to fill the petrol. Can we say that? Oh, we have to go for, just reach some place, airport. Oh, no, I don't have time to put in GPS if I don't know the route. Can I say that? Or I have put some food in the freeze. Oh, I don't have time to heat that food in the freeze. I just want to eat it as it is. Is it possible? No. Right? Yes, it is really important for all of us as we are going fast. We need to understand whether we are going in the right direction or not. Right? Yes, and that is a time to reflect for all of us. Yes, we are just in the red race, but at the end we will just red. Right? Are we really want to be that? Or what exactly the purpose of all of us? What should we supposed to do? That's what the Bhagavad Gita teaches us, that provokes us, triggers us, and it stimulates our thoughts. What should we really do about it? Right? Yes. And then we talked about how Krishna enters the battlefield, how he is introduced as a chariot driver, as a Bhakta Vatsala. Right? As we discussed in the beginning, that he can do anything and everything for the pleasure of his devotees. Just like a devotee can do anything for the pleasure of the Lord, a Lord also does everything for the pleasure of his devotees. Right? Because most of the times, people nowadays talk about servant leader, but more as a lip service. But they don't have anything really. And I want to be a servant leader, right? Maybe in the corporate world also. But how can I really exploit and how can I really increase my level and increment? But not really from our heart. I want to benefit someone. Right? I want to keep myself in the center so that everybody can glorify me. Right? There are 4 types of leaders are there. Right? One leader, we can say that, like especially we can really relate to our so-called, most of the politicians, not all. Definitely there are so many good are there. Who want only glories. But they don't do any work, but they ensure that their name would be there everywhere. You have seen that? They want to put their names everywhere. And the second kind of people, they do their work and they also want the glorification as well. And third kind of people, they all do the background work. Especially in our Janmashtami also, if you see, there are so many devotees who are in the background only doing seva. You will not see their names, you will not see their face, doing that seva. They would be doing all background sevas. Right? And there are 4th kind of people. What they do? They do the seva and they glorify others. Oh, you have done so nicely. Right? And our Srila Prabhupada, when all the hippie students, they would come and he would, at the end he would say, thank you very much for coming and listening and giving an opportunity to share this message of Bhagavad Gita. At no point of time he would say that, oh, I know better, I know more, I am a Pandita, I am a saint, and you are all fools. He would say that, thank you very much for giving us an opportunity so that we could be absorbed in ourselves in understanding and sharing the message of Bhagavad Gita as instructed my spiritual master. You are helping my spiritual master. You would be grateful to them. This is the quality of a servant leader. Srila Prabhupada at the age of 70, what he would do? He would cook for everybody. And he would offer it to everybody. He would give a lecture to everybody. And after that, he will serve it to everybody. And everybody will go and then he will clean all the utensils. This is the quality of a leader. That amanina manadena. Right? He doesn't expect anything for himself, but he wants to offer everything to others. This is what Lord Krishna is teaching. That what exactly, in that battlefield, when there's so much of uproar, right? Chaos was happening, and if Arjuna has to say that go left or right, he would kind of kick with the left leg or right leg to Krishna. Can anybody believe that? Right? If you are really the controller and the proprietor of an institute, or of an organization, and if somebody says something, right, maybe in a board meeting or somewhere even in 101, you are fired the next day. But you see the quality of the relationship between the master and servant here, right? Like Krishna, who was as you saying, Akhila Brahmanda Nayaka, he was taking care of all the horses, massaging them so that they will serve, Arjuna properly. Right? This is a true leader. And yes, Arjuna really speaks in detail. Maybe we'll discuss subsequently. He talked about different reasons why he should not fight. And then yes, he kind of plays that part, that how he's in confusion at this point of time. Oh yes, all my relatives will be killed. How can we really kill them? Oh, if they will really be killed, how can I really enjoy? You want to enjoy with someone. If everybody is killed, how can I really enjoy with myself? And if I really kill, there will be so much of sinful reactions from everybody. And once all the elders will be destroyed, the whole family traditions will be, destroyed. Right? And then, of course, Lord Krishna gives the subsequent reasons in the second chapter onwards. But yeah, this is what, we just in nutshell, discussed about the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and how do we can learn from the diplomacies of Duryodhana or Dhritarashtra, and what are the signs of the victory that Pandavas had, and how they can be really applied in our life. Okay? Yes. How we can really bring this victory signs in our life. We said that yes, we can make our life, our family as a bhavan. We can really have a divine couple between the couple. How we can keep the Lord in the center. How we can have the right association of the devotees, and how we can have a positive vibration at our home through the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Yes, you had some question.